And Whitlow,
Brandon Spivey.
and we are the
Markout
Markout
Movie
Movie Podcasters.
Podcasters.
And on today's episode, we are going to be talking about 1982's Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Uh, Directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, um, written technically by Nigel Niels, John Carpenter, and Tommy Lee Wallace, but only name credit as writer is Tommy Lee Wallace. The movie is about uh, a doctor and the daughter of a weary traveler traveling to a town of Santa Mira to find out why her father ended up mysteriously dying and what's going on with these masks that is made by this company called Silver Shamrock. And do you have the numbers?
Oh, I got him.
Well, real quick, I play. Yeah, well, go ahead. Well, before you get to the numbers, uh, I create stuff and then I forget that. So we're gonna talk briefly about Candyman 2021 before he gets to the numbers. I still gotta pull up the cast, but anyway, Candyman 2021, real quick. All right, so I saw it. Brandon saw it recently today. That's as
Yeah.
recent as you can get. Um, and I'm interested to know his thoughts.
Oh.
We probably won't agree with it. So.
No, we're not. We're not gonna agree.
Okay.
I I saw a review by Jeremy Johns, and I absolutely agreed with what he said. For me,
Never look at the reviews.
no, I mean I went in hyped for it, so his opinion didn't factor.
Okay.
Like I'm a huge fan of Candyman, the original film, and I think Aaron is too. Uh, but for me, what they did here, it just felt flat to me. And the final act, I just felt like it spiraled, like it was in chaos for me, and it just, I don't know, it felt flat. I did enjoy seeing Tony Todd at the end though. Tell them about me, you know.
Yeah.
Let them all know, you know. Like,
this is the spoiler review of that, by the way. If y'all didn't.
Oh, right. See, I'm back.
Brandon is back.
But you know, I mean.
But yeah.
But I mean, I didn't hate the movie by any means. It's hello, Cole. It felt a little flat to me, you know. But that's my take on it. I mean,
yeah,
I wasn't like disappointed. It just I wanted more.
You just wanted more of it. Yeah. All right. So me, Cole, you having a good lick there. Anyway, for me, I enjoyed the movie as far as the different mythos that they're trying to go with it. Now, granted, I would have loved to see more Tony Todd. You already let the cat out of the bag. I would have loved to have seen more of him, but I understand what they're going with it.
I was told he was in the movie the whole time, and I was like, that don't look like Tony to me.
No. You know if it's Tony, you gotta have that voice accompanying it. But
yeah.
But I do like what they're doing with it. I enjoyed it. And I'm definitely gonna buy it when it comes out on Blu-ray. But that's just I give it.
You gave it 4.5.
Yeah, 4.5 Markouts out of 5.
Oh.
I really enjoyed it. It's just me.
I can't give a score at the moment. It has to digest, but it's between a 2.5 and a 3. I'll go with a 3. I'll give him a 3. It's not bad. Like I kind of feel like I like Us better though. I know, right? It just.
But also, granted, this is Nia DaCosta's film. Jordan is the producer. He probably had a lot of insight in it, and
I feel him in this movie though. It's like I can feel his presence.
Yeah.
Like him helping out, but like it's not like I don't think it's a bad movie or anything. So I don't want to give that impression that he hated it. No, I didn't hate it. It just felt a little. Can you compare it to the original?
It didn't live up to.
Yeah, and I hadn't seen the original, but there was I like some things they did.
You haven't seen the original?
Not in a long time.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's been a few. About 5 or 6 years.
Bilford the Hobbit's here. Hey, Bilford, thank you for joining us. I'm gonna try my best to monitor comments on Facebook and also on YouTube. But yeah, we're getting back into our discussion. This was gonna be a horror section. I always forget to load the horror section.
Well, real quick before we get back to it.
Yeah.
I'd like to get your thoughts on a certain character's return. Not physically, but from the original movie.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I loved it. I love that continuity.
Yeah,
Because I knew that that's what but also once again the trailer gives it away. Because in the trailer you see her doing this and clapping and doing like no.
Well, no,
like,
I wasn't talking about her.
The mom?
I wasn't talking about her.
Who are you talking about? Oh yeah.
I said not physically there, but she's there.
Yeah, I love it. I love that. Okay, I love that too. I love that they, shout her out, sort of.
I mean, she's mentioned quite a bit in the movie.
She's she's the one that kind of helps sprinkle the little crumbs to lead this guy on his path of where he ends up. That's all I say.
Yeah.
But yeah, now to Halloween season 3, Season of the Witch. I'm gonna play a quick trailer from the movie.
Listen, he just walked up out of the rain. I swear to God, that's all there was to it.
Did my father say anything to you the night he died?
I don't know. Your father came into the hospital. I thought he was crazy, out of his mind. He's hanging onto a Halloween mask. He wouldn't let it go. And what he said was, "They're going to kill us. All of us." And in a little while, he was dead. And I don't know what the hell is going on.
I've been doing some detective work. I think my father ran into trouble somewhere between here and Santa Mira.
Santa Mira, founded in 1887. Colonel Cochran converted it into a toy factory.
You happen to know anything about this Cochran?
He's watching you, friend, I guarantee you that.
All right, so it's a little bit, but before we get into that, I want to talk real quick. Who's in this film? Tom Atkins plays Daniel Chalice, Dr. Daniel Chalice, who feels more like a detective than he does a doctor. He came across to me as more of a detective.
Well, I mean, it's Tom Atkins.
Yeah, it's Tom Atkins. He'd be the coolest whatever he plays. If he's playing an airplane pilot, he'd be the coolest airplane pilot. But
I felt like the girl though that's with him, more like a reporter than a daughter.
Stacey Nelkin,
yeah,
who plays Ellie Grimbridge.
And they should have. I feel they messed up that casting. I think Nancy Loomis should have been that character instead of the ex-wife.
Well, and then Nancy Loomis is also in this film.
That's the ex-wife.
Yeah. Dan O'Hurley plays Colonel Cochran. And then I need to talk about Dick Warlock as the assassin in this film. Also, if you listen to the voice over the loudspeakers and also on the phone, it's none other than Jamie Lee Curtis as the operator, I guess. So it was pretty cool. There's two types of cameos of Jamie Lee Curtis. It was there, and then they literally show a scene from Halloween. Because in this universe, Halloween is just a movie.
Yeah, it's the immortal classic.
The immortal classic. Which it's funny because it came out in like 78 and this is 81, like what, 3 or 4 years later.
Yeah.
So,
but
it is now an immortal classic. It really is.
It was a classic once it came out. You got to call it the immortal classic.
I call it the immortal classic.
So does they. So
I'm not knocking them. So real quick, hit them with the numbers.
Oh, the go with the numbers.
We're going with the numbers.
All right.
And as you do that, I was looking for comments. Go for it.
All right. It's got a 5 out of 10 on IMDb. Goodreads. Not sure why Goodreads is in this. But
I have no idea.
It gets a 3.6 out of 5. Goodreads is for books. I don't understand. But 3.6 out of 5. 63% like it on Google. Which is pretty low for Google. They're usually in the 80s and 90s. But 41% on a Rotten Tomato meter And it gets worse. 27% audience score. So it's just it's not very loved.
Well loved, well
It's not
appreciated.
beloved, Aaron.
It's not beloved, and I think, but for Die Hard, I don't know. I was gonna say Die Hard Halloween fans,
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't go there.
but there is some people that is straight purist, and I'm a bit of a purist. Like even the ones we're about to watch now that Halloween 2018 came out, I consider them as just in my mind just an alternate universe of Halloween, and so. But this one is just a little
sad. So I mean, it's kind of sad.
It is. It is.
We'll talk about it next.
Well, that's what Candyman did essentially too.
What I mean,
yeah. That's the new. That's the new.
Weren't great.
Yeah, no, they weren't. And so I'm glad that they did they call it a spiritual sequel, where they just say, hey, we're gonna act like the rest of them didn't ever happen, and this is the spiritual sequel to the first one. And that's what Halloween 2018 is the spiritual sequel to Halloween 78. And so I'm okay with it.
Oh, I know.
But
I think most people are okay with it
if it's handled right.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only people that wouldn't be okay with it is if you really love Danielle Harris.
I was gonna say, or if you are Danielle Harris.
Well, I think she just wanted to be part of it.
I agree, I think that she should.
She should definitely be part of it. I
think she should show up and at least kill ends. I think she should.
They should bring her on.
Yeah,
board.
It's something as a relative, or I love for her to be a relative of Lori or maybe even Tommy Doyle's Tommy's daughter. Like years later, it'd be great. Cause she.
I would have preferred they would have handled it. They would have not recast, but they wouldn't have cast Judy Greer in the daughter role and gave it to
Danielle. It would have been great.
But Judy's a better actress.
I know. I'm not a huge Judy Greer fan.
Like I like her.
I'm gonna say it. She's not terrible. It's just I always felt it was miscasting because she's more. I seen her more in comedic stuff. I haven't really seen her be serious.
Like I saw her in the very first dramatic role besides Halloween 2018 in a Clint Eastwood film, the 15 to 17 to Paris. She's in very little of it, and I was like, what? But Urkel's in that movie.
Urkel's
in that movie?
Jaleel? Okay.
The guy from Odd Couple from the TV shows in that movie. He cast a bunch of comedians in dramatic roles, and then he cast the real people, and I was like, this just seems so odd, Clint. But so that was like the first time I ever seen her in a dramatic role besides Halloween 2018. I was like, she's good. I like her. Mm-hmm. It just Danielle Harris would have fit better. Yeah. Towards the fans.
You think Danielle would have legitimately be older? I don't know if she's old enough to have a daughter the age that.
She's in her 40s.
But
I mean.
But this, I guess.
Age don't really matter in Hollywood. I mean.
You
just gotta look a certain age.
That's true. That's what I was gonna say though. I think that she.
They could have pulled it off.
Yeah, they could have. I think that she doesn't look like she's in her 40s. That's what I'm trying to say. Danielle Harris still looks like in her 20s, maybe 30s.
I would go 30s.
Yeah, maybe 30s. Like when you look at her up close,
Aaron's a massive fan of her.
I'm a mark.
He's really putting her over.
I'm a mark. But anyway,
she's awesome too. I like her too.
But real quick, all right. A little backstory of Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. All right, so, John and Deborah, as we stated before, didn't want to do any more Halloween films. They were doing Michael.
They never wanted to do Michael.
They never wanted
as a franchise. They never wanted that.
They wanted him. I bet he kind of regrets leaving the open end that they did in 1, but. They wanted it to be done, but they was clamoring for more Michael. So they said, okay, well, this is the send-off. So Halloween 2 was supposed to be Michael's send-off.
What he wanted, he actually got. He's not part of it. But, like, the show Slasher does what he wants. Mm-hmm. It's an anthology series, which is what he wanted. Like American Horror Story, I believe it does that, too.
I've never seen Slasher.
I have. I've seen the first...
American Horror Story is good, too.
First season.
Well, it's all tied together.
Is it?
AHS. Yeah,
Oh,
it
okay,
is.
then it doesn't count.
It ties in itself like referential.
I didn't think they were tied together. I thought they were like
Sort of. It's weird. But
okay, slasher works because it's a different slasher type show every season. They're not connected, which is what John wanted for Halloween.
Yeah,
he wanted Halloween themed films.
That makes sense. So what they did is for Halloween 3, he initially wanted Joe Dante to direct it, and
that would have been so different.
Yeah, and Joe he was slated to direct it, but it took too long for them to do it, so he passed. And guess what he ended up directing?
What did
Gremlins? Which the rest is history.
Why? I don't understand. That came in '84 though, right?
Well, I think he started working on it.
Oh, okay.
Started writing and helping out with Gremlins and.
Well, he made the better call career-wise.
I think that's what it is. I might be wrong, but if anybody's watching and want to fact check me, please do so. I'll be willing to put it on there. But yeah, I think he made a better call. Ultimately, it would have been a different movie. It would have had a different tone. Joe Dante's films have a totally different tone to them.
We gotta look at it this way too. Gremlins is still Gizmo. I mean, it's still relevant today. I mean,
I think
you take Halloween 3, take the title away. It's just called Season of the Witch. Do you think people even know this movie even exists?
No, and that's what Tommy Lee Wallace said. And he says this. He says that it's a blessing and a curse. Its movie would have never gotten made if it was just called Season of the Witch. Yeah. But because it's Halloween 3, it was made, but people was mad because no Michael. So you can't really, which they should have did a better job of promoting the fact that there is not Michael in this movie, that they're going a different direction. But, so I can understand why fans would have been mad.
I mean, I get it completely. And I remember watching it.
I used to crap on this movie all the time.
I remember watching it as a kid. And I was like, okay, where's Michael at? For the whole 90 whatever minutes, I was like, where's Michael? I want Michael. I don't have Michael. And I was so confused at the idea. Okay, how's this Halloween? I don't get it. And it was just one of those things. They went a different direction. And I don't know what's going on. We're on.
I was looking at Thursday comments. Go ahead.
Okay. Caught me off guard there. But now looking back, rewatching this movie, I watched it last night, and I was zoned into the whole film.
Paying attention.
Yeah. I put my phone down. I really didn't pick it up through the whole 94 minutes, I believe. Mm-hmm. One thing I noticed directly, initially, throughout the whole movie, Tom Atkins is on. Like, I could watch this guy all day.
Tom Atkins totally steals every scene that
he does. And I'm like, man, he's so cool. I'm upset because he didn't get more roles.
Yeah.
This guy should have been an icon in horror. And he is to really diehard horror fans, but
I have a sub story that I got. It's not from me. I got this from Cecil over at Good Bad Flicks. He has a brilliant video of the Exploring. He has a series called Exploring, and so he explores different movies. But he did Exploring of Halloween 3. He mentions that all right, so Deborah wanted Tom Atkins for this role because she thought there's casting against type of what Hollywood's typically looking for, like clean cut, pretty boys, and wanted somebody who's more gritty that can act and handle it. And so that's why she wanted them to cast Tom Atkins. Tom Atkins was so beloved on this project that someone else that was associated with this, I don't remember who specifically, went on to have a hand in Lethal Weapon and wanted him.
You don't know who?
Yeah.
You seriously don't know who?
Who?
It's Shane Black.
Shane Black, yeah.
He wanted him for Riggs.
Yeah, he wanted him for Riggs. So he couldn't get him for Riggs. Well, the studio was like, no, they want male. And so instead, they cast him as a different character in that movie. Yeah. But that's why he ended up being Lethal Weapon, because Shane Black, which I didn't know the guy's name.
He wrote Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, there you go.
I know all about it.
Well, You're a lethal guy. I'm a diehard guy. So
Yeah, I mean, and I remember actually, Tom told him, said no studio's going to cast me as Riggs. This is a great character. They're going to want someone younger, better looking,
Mhm.
and no studio's going to go for this. Not put money with it, you know. So I'll be in it. I'd be happy with it. I would love to play the character, but no one's going to. And he actually told that story. I want to say to me and a former friend when we met him at in Nashville. I do want to say he told that story. He told me a lot. It was a true blessing.
The fact that you got to meet him was pretty awesome.
It is, and he made fun of my shirt because I had a Jason's Live shirt on, and he inspired me to go out and buy.
Night of the Creeps.
Yes.
You told me that.
Yeah, and I was telling him about a screenplay I was writing. He said, I'll do it. You get a hold of me, I'll do it. And I rewrote it, and I wrote a character just for him. And it was I never did get to tell him about it.
I believe he's still alive, man.
I know.
I hope that one day you do. I hope that one day you do.
He's amazing. He not just on screen, but in person, man. He's truly one of the best people. Him and Tony Todd are probably my favorite two
people that you met.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Tom Atkins plays Daniel Chalice in this film. So that's what was going on. The writer, the original writer of this film, Nigel Neal, who also wrote Quatermass, the stuff in Britain. He's like a British Oscar like writing. You know, he's like, but he didn't get the direction that John and Deborah and everybody was trying to go, and so they so when they gave him notes on the script, things to change or write, he got offended and refused to change it. So John came in and he took it over and wrote it. So he said, "Here, take my name off the script. I don't want to have no association with this movie." And so when John gave Tommy Lee Wallace the script, Tommy looked at his script and was like, "I don't like your script, John." And so he rewrote it to fit where he wants. So the final thing has more of Nigel stuff in it, a little bit of John stuff, but the stuff I guess that Tommy liked, Tommy put in there, and that's what you got is Season of the Witch. So it
sounds like it was a complicated creative process.
Yeah, but it seems like it was a fun shoot. I want to talk to you real quick about before we get more into the characters. I want to ask you about the Santa Mira. It was actually shot in I forgot where, somewhere in California, which you can actually literally go and see these locations. I want to talk to you about that, like I want to talk to you about the fact that this movie and something like Halloween and other movies like that, back then they used real locations versus studio sets, even though there is studio sets in this film. What's your thoughts on like the small town and that feel and the creepiness of that town?
Oh, I prefer real locations over studio sets. It feels natural. You know, when you're on a studio set, you can tell the difference as well. It just, the actor, I think Star Wars suffered from this. Episode 1 suffered from it. You're not acting. You're kind of reacting. You know.
Yeah.
It's not. I think Liam Neeson talked about that. He had a hard time with Episode 1 shooting that because it didn't feel natural to him. You know, and I agree.
Green screens.
Yeah, the green screens and all that. So I kind of agree with him on that. I feel a true actor would want to be on location. You know, to see it all, to feel it. You really feel it when you're on location.
And to go back to Tom Atkins, there is some stuff in this movie. Like the guy actually had walking pneumonia throughout the shoot, but
that's terrible.
But he never complained.
It is.
He never complained. So the ripping and running, him running and climbing and stuff, he did all that with pneumonia.
I don't know how. I've had it. I felt like I was dying.
Tom freaking Atkins.
Yes, I'm telling you, he's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, he also Stacey Nielken, who plays Ellie Grambridge. It was like one of her first films. She had a clause where she would do nudity, but she would not show her nipple. So the sex scene, if you look, Tom Atkins is carefully concealing her nipple to make sure that it's not on screen. Also, during that scene, Tom Atkins' real life wife at the time, the chick that got the face full of like the lady that was messing with that's his wife at the time.
That's the time he says.
Yeah.
Oh, you doing sex scenes with her? Divorce.
Yeah. But she's in the next room dying. Yeah. So it's funny because she's like he's over here getting it on with this young babe, and she's over here like dying, her face all messed up.
I got a question about this romance that just for me just came out of nowhere.
I would agree with that.
Like it felt so forced.
Yeah, it felt like a trap.
Yeah, it's like, and he even says
he's also a bad parent.
He's a bad parent.
He's a bad parent.
When has Tom Atkins been a good parent? I mean, in his films. I mean,
I've only seen him be a parent in this.
He's never been. Well,
what else has he been a parent?
His parent, he was. His daughter had an overdose. In Lethal Weapon.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, that's true.
He let his ex-girlfriend get butchered by the mental escape patient in Night of the Creeps. Tom Atkins is not there for people, man.
but yeah, he really isn't. No, he really isn't. But in this movie, all right. So real quick, Tom Atkins. Before we get back to the relationship thing, we'll talk about it real quick. So yeah, I felt like it's forced. I feel like the relationship was not real. It felt like what I felt about Tom Atkins. Character Chalice, I felt like he was avoiding dealing with his crazy ex-wife Nancy Loomis, and which I like Nancy Loomis.
I love her. I felt that she would have been perfect for the role of his daughter.
But I guess she was at the time dating Tommy Lee and probably just agreed just to do this one little brief cameo in this film. That's another at the time. People were dating at the time. They're no longer together, but
you can see why. I mean,
yeah, but Nancy Loomis, now Nancy Kiss. I don't know how you say her last name now, but I love her, and I'm glad that she was the mom in this movie for that brief time that we got to see her. But also the little boy in this film that plays his son, he went on to be in Teen Witch, the movie Teen Witch. He was like the little brother.
Seen it, but I didn't pay attention when I watched it.
Yeah, nobody did. But yeah, he's. Well, no offense. I know Dorian Walker, who's from Bowling Green, who directed that film. I like the film.
He just said no one paid attention.
Nobody paid attention to the kid. Nobody paid attention to the little brother because
the way you said it made it sound like no one paid attention to this movie.
No, Dorian, I love your film. But anyway,
he would love to have you on the podcast.
He lives here in Bowling Green. I've spoke to the guy before. He's a nice guy.
As I said again, he would love to have you on the podcast.
We'll review Teen Witch for you. But anyway,
you'll force me to do it.
I will. But anyway, I was going to ask you about this.
Go ahead.
So it feels like this is where I say that he's a bad dad. All right, Chalice reneges on his obligation of picking up his kids. Instead, picks up some beer and goes out of town with this nice young honey to investigate. Sure, but I don't think he's really going to investigate. But it started to become personal for him, but it wasn't at one point. He would have a good time.
Here's where I have a problem with the movie.
Okay.
Like I love it. I love how it's directed. I love how it's shot. It looks like a legit film. Like it looks better to me than Halloween 2 in that area. But I don't love the story.
Dean Cundy, he returned as well to do the DP on this.
Some of the things these characters do don't make any sense to me.
Because you had 3 writers. It's probably why.
I don't feel a real doctor would investigate this at all. They're like, oh, it sucks that we lost this patient the way we lost him, and this guy committed suicide like he did. But I don't feel a real doctor would go out and investigate this.
They should have maybe highlighted more of his womanizer, because I assume that's why him and Nancy didn't work. In the movie, and so he's always shucking responsibility. He shows up with cheap dollar store mask with the little rubber band. You remember those masks that hurt your face at the end of the night? By the time you just got the outfit on but don't got the mask on. Yeah. Anybody else know what I'm talking about? Come on. But anyway,
I was poor. I still am. So yeah, I get it.
but anyway, so he shows up but then his mom's like, "We got Silver Shamrock mask," and they playing, But I think that a lot of people in the movie does do things that doesn't make sense. Like it doesn't make sense that I guess the girl's father, Ellie's father, was in Santa Mira to pick up his shipment. He discovered something about the mask. He was being chased. He ended up in wherever the town they are.
Yeah.
And he ended up into the hospital. And what about that guy? He's like, that's all I did, man. I just gave him a ride here. That's all I did. I didn't do anything else. Like,
go ahead. I know you want to.
But why, bro? Why?
Because he's black. And he's afraid he's gonna get arrested because the guy ends up dead. He's like,
he wasn't dead at the time, but he's just like, man, this white man showed up in my. I just want to be a good Samaritan.
Yeah, he sees guys going crazy. Oh, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, he left. He did leave. That's hilarious. But anyway, he like high stepped his way out too. He's like, man, the camera showed him again. He looked back like, man, you crackers, I'm leaving him alone. But anyway, he just. But no offense. Anyway.
Why would I be offended?
I don't know. Might be. But anyway.
Yeah.
I do want to. So I do think I want to talk about another character as well that I really enjoyed. It was that Cochran, the actual bad guy, the villain, Dan O'Hurley. They said on set that he was like, he was very much like Donald Pleasance, as he was trained actor. He was on Man from U.N.C.L.E., and later on he was in RoboCop.
He looked familiar.
Yeah, he seemed like one of those old, just bad men. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? Like just old, just like
he's one of those old bad men.
Yeah, but he was really good in this movie. Like he also chewed the scene every time that he was on screen. I thought that he chewed the scene.
Yeah, my issue with him is I truly don't understand. I've seen this movie 3 times. I don't understand why he's doing what he's doing.
Solid.
Because he said it's the joke. It's a joke for the kids, on the kids or something. I was like,
he don't like kids.
I get that, but you're gonna be killing all kinds of people.
It's gonna be bad publicity. Like, how do you get away with this? Like, what? Like, people across the world gonna be like, hey, Silver Shamrock mask is killing everybody.
Yeah, I mean,
I
didn't understand his
motivation.
Yeah, he phenomenal job. Acting wise, I think everybody.
He didn't even explain his. He's like,
yeah, it's kind of like, and I said it in my review on Letterboxd. The only issue I have with this movie is the story.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel it was a strong story, but I felt it was strong directed. It was shot very well. The acting was good. Tom Atkins is freaking Tom Atkins, and that's all you need.
Yeah.
But the story itself, it didn't compel. It wasn't compelling enough. Like, I wanted more. Like when the guy they bring in, he's being killed by this guy that dressed in black, right? Mm-hmm. Dick Warlock, right?
Yeah.
That's an awesome scene. I love that scene. And I was like, wow, this guy's very strong and powerful. And I was kind of hoping they were going to play more with that until you find out what they really are, Mm-hmm. And he goes into his car and he pours gasoline all over himself. And I'm like,
there was really no need for it. Like, that's what was alarming. But there's no need. He could have just left.
He could have.
And nobody would ever know. Like he just left.
But I love that scene where he's pouring gasoline and blows himself up.
Yeah.
Like, I was like,
it's good effect.
Yeah, it really is. It's just when you find out later on what's going on with them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like, no.
And I want to mention Dick Warlock as well. Dick, for those that don't know, Dick is Michael in 2.
Yeah.
Halloween 2, which arguably one of the best Michaels. It's not my favorite Michael. Once again, I say that.
A lot of people like him, though.
But I love him. I think he's really.
Didn't he do another one? Didn't he come back?
He might have. So all I know is Nick Castle. I could see him first, Michael. Obviously, I know other people played him, but I could see him Michael. So Nick.
Nick's probably my favorite.
Dick Warlock. Tom Moran.
You know him. I know.
I think there's a Wilbur. Wilbur. I think there's a crossover. Somebody did it. Michael also did Jason. There's one person that did, but I think he did fake Jason.
Where he played Roy.
Yeah.
Well, that was the character
Yeah.
of Roy.
But and then I know Brad Lorry. He does a good job. Unfortunately he's in the one with Busta Rhymes. And
it's a good Michael though.
Yeah, he's a good Michael. It's just
we'll talk about
it when we get there. But but then obviously my favorite one is James Jude Courtney, Old Man Michael. I love Old Man Michael. So
see here's the thing with that one. I feel like it's the same Michaels from the first one.
Yeah, he really.
And I don't think.
And Nick did show back up in that one. We'll talk about it too.
Yeah, he did show back up. So I felt like part 1 and part 2, they're way too different in my opinion, and it takes me out. That's why I don't.
You say part 1 and part 2.
Yeah.
Just tone wise, it's just different. Or you mean, but the Michaels in themselves?
I felt it was a different Michael. I didn't feel it was the same Michael from the first movie.
I agree. I think that Dick. I loved how Dick played it more mechanical.
Yeah.
And that became for me what Michael Myers is, that mechanical, methodical killer. Whereas
also the reason why the first is so beloved.
Yep.
Because how he is human in that movie, and
I guess
in a sense, I just
probably argue if you was to go with Friday the 13th real quick before we get back to this film.
Please don't lick my butt.
But for those listening on the podcast, there is a dog in the room. I just want you to know that. Those that listen on Anchor, that is because there's a dog. Aaron is not licking no butts. Okay.
It was not Aaron. It was Cole.
The dog. Okay. Anyway.
The dog, yes, the dog.
Calm down, Cole. Remember, we have an audience that can't see. But anyway, that would be weird.
My apologies.
But anyway.
But when someone starts licking your butt, it's
not someone. Something.
The point I'm making is I got licked, all right?
I didn't do it. Anyway, back to the movie. So my point was with Jason. Who played Jason in 4?
It wasn't Richard. It was Ted White.
Ted White, I felt set the pace of what Jason was to be, but then Kane Hodder just kind of reinvented it a little bit more. He had his own thing, but I think that it was Ted White that kind of personified who Jason was.
I think Ted and Richard and Kane top 3. I give the edge to Kane just because he does so much.
Yeah. But that foreboding.
Yeah.
Breathing, yeah.
But what Richard did in 3, I feel to this day still the most menacing Jason. Like I would not want to cross that Jason.
Yeah, he was just he was so vicious. Yeah. I love how vicious he is in that movie. But anyway, back to Season of the Witch.
I can't wait to do.
I can't wait.
Friday 13th.
We can do that next year.
Maybe. That or Freddy.
That also Scream, but that'd be a short one. The Scream film.
Yeah, we would have to do screens before.
We could do a screen leading up to the new Scream sometime, so we can plan that out.
Well, it's coming out soon though.
What?
Scream 4, Scream 5.
When?
January.
Yeah, we can plan that out.
You think so?
Maybe.
All right.
We can do things. We can talk about it after this podcast. Of course. So we're doing our meeting in between Season of the Witch. Anyway, Dick Warlock. I want to mention him. So I felt that Dick. I loved how robotic he was. He's an android, but I loved how he was so good in this movie. Yeah. He just so I'm glad that now I recognize that's who it is. I didn't seen this movie the first couple of times I've seen it. I didn't know who Dick Warlock was really, but now I'm starting to recognize the people that actually play the Shape a little bit more because this guy over here he recognizes those that plays Voorhees. So you gotta start giving love to the people that do these roles. So, but Dick did such a great job, and he's also stunt coordinator on this movie.
I think all of them though are more than just stuntmen.
Mm-hmm.
They all have some acting experience, and it shows because I feel they all bring something different. If all the different Michaels, all the different Jasons, Leatherface, I think would be one as well. They all brought something different, whether it was good or bad.
Dick Warlock is or was at one point Kurt Russell's stunt double. So he would he had a contractual. He was contractually obligated to be with him in every single movie, or they had to at least ask him if he wants to do it. So he got a lot of roles because if they get Kurt to do a movie, then you got to contractually you're obligated to ask Dick if he wants to do it. He can pass or he can do it. But he did a lot of movies with Kurt. The last one was Tango and Cash because he didn't like the way that they were doing certain things, and Kurt tried to bat for him, but he just said no, don't worry, just give it to this other guy. But they haven't really talked since, which is it's a bummer. But yeah,
It happened.
Dick Warlock, man. I thought he was really great in this movie. I thought they wanted all the little androids to be redheads, but I'm glad they didn't do that. They just were menacing. But let me ask you: do you think the lab coat people were also androids, or were they people?
I'm gonna go with people, because just I don't know. They became androids at the end because their bodies had that green fluid.
Yeah, some of them did.
I think they were actual people that I don't know. I mean, maybe not. Maybe he was mind controlling everyone.
Yeah.
I don't really.
We have no audience for this one. Nobody likes Halloween Season of the Witch. They're like, oh,
Yeah, I mean,
Witch. We'll pass on this one.
Yeah, it's just not one of those movies that people talk about. I mean,
Yeah, but you know what they do talk about?
What's that, Aaron?
They talk about
Oh, I know what you're going with.
this.
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
It's almost time, kids. The clock is ticking. Be in front of your TV set. Remember the big giveaway at 9. Don't miss it. Don't forget to wear your mask.
It kind of annoys me.
It's almost time.
It sounds flat, bro. If y'all can see me, I'm grooving right now. All right, so it's true. It's true. He said nobody can see us. We have no audience. It's true. But yeah, I was actually jamming to that song. What that is London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. So they took that song because it's free. You can use it. You don't have to worry about copyright. And so they just did a melody. Happy, happy Halloween. Well, 8 more days to Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. It's the same melody. It's also Tommy Lee Wallace singing the lyrics, but he sped it up to make it sound like kids. And then also, it's him doing you got time, children, to get in front of the TV. That's him. That's Tommy Lee Wallace. So credits for you, bro, stepping up and doing your own stuff. But real quick, commercialism and capitalism. So I think those are also themes in this film because the androids wear suits like businessmen.
Mm-hmm.
And so you think they're making a statement that corporate America can kill you, or something like that?
That's a statement. It's a fact, Aaron. They can, and they will, and they have.
And they have. Oh, there's bodies. Have you seen the American Psycho? No, it's right. But that's literal corporate America killing people.
I mean, you can have a slow death, or you can be fast paced. I mean, if you worked in corporate at all,
mm-hmm.
you know this, and I know you have.
Sort of, but
yeah, you kind of have.
but yeah, so with that song though, also the song is catchy as you stated. The song is catchy. Let me see if I got any comments. No comments. Nobody's commenting on this one. But anyway,
Aaron is disappointed.
No, I'm not disappointed because it's still a fun podcast. But anyway, the song is catchy, but it reminds me of like how.
We got a viewer.
Hey, it reminds me of how. It reminds me of how people like how these commercials, like whether it's like McDonald's or back in the day Joe Camel, would like advertise towards children, and even like He-Man, Masters of the Universe was literally a cartoon created because they had the toy and they wanted to sell more toys, so they created a cartoon to sell more toys, and it worked. Yeah. And that's what they do, and so they market. That's why now there's protocols about marketing to children, because sounds like this. I pointed at the screen like it's on TV, but sounds like that Happy Halloween song, whatever, Silver Shamrock. It's catchy and kids want to buy these things, but then ultimately you allowing the TVs to consume your children and kill them. And that's ultimately what happens in this movie.
Yeah. I do. You asked earlier. Well, I don't know if you actually asked or not, but well, no one's talking about this movie, but they do talk about this little theme. Mm-hmm. And I think more people remember the theme than they do the actual what the movie was about.
They probably don't even know where they hear the theme, don't even know where it's from.
Yeah, like I was that way. Mm-hmm. Like I remember hearing the theme, and I was like, "What's that from?" And then, of course, a couple years back when they released all the Halloweens on Blu-ray, I rewatched 3 because I hadn't seen it since I was like 9 or 10, mm-hmm. and I was like, "Oh, that's where that's from." Okay, I was like, I hated that movie. Yeah, but. I didn't rewatched it. I didn't hate it, but it is what it is. And I was just like,
it is what it is.
It is. It is. Some people love this movie, and some people still hate it because there's no Michael. I don't think that's fair. I think you should give the movie a chance.
I agree.
You may love it, may hate it, may think it's okay.
Oh, we got comments.
Aaron's happy about the comments.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Devon, Frank Whitlow, my cousin, and then also Tanya Vine, sis. She says Halloween 3 creepy songs stay in my head. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, these
yeah, I love those creepy songs though.
Yeah, but yeah, the jingle. Like I was actually literally singing this like that last night after watching it. I was like, na, 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 Halloween. It's just like in my head that little. It would be like more technical today. But yeah, but I think that's what it works. That's what makes it work. That little song, and the kills, the deaths in this movie for the most part are really great. Like so, first death that I want to talk about is the guy in the hospital.
Yeah, it was a really good one.
Yeah, like first I thought the dude was gonna punch him in the face. Because he has his hands like this, and then he did this. I'm like, oh. And now I'm thinking, that's the eyes.
Yeah.
And he, sure enough, went in his eyes and broke his nose or something. I don't know. He killed him. But I'm like, it is a messy death, and he just started wiping.
He stretched him out.
Yeah, he stretched him. He stretched something that shouldn't stretch.
It was gruesome, and I loved it. Oh. That's something you shouldn't say, right? It was gruesome, and I loved it.
But it was smart because you know what? You don't really see it.
Yeah.
It's implied that it happens, but you don't see it. Like when they put the hands in to and do it. You hear the.
I feel like I'm watching Aaron do surgery.
You hear the squish noise, and then you hear the crunch noise.
Yeah.
But you don't see it, but it's implied, and you're like, and then you see him wipe his hands off, and you're like, oh, and so in your brain, you've seen everything.
I think with that scene though, besides the gasoline scene blowing, setting this guy on his own self on fire.
Yeah, totally.
But that scene that you're talking about, I think that's probably my favorite death in the whole movie.
Ooh, really?
I think so. I mean,
interesting. Okay,
I think so.
All right. Let's see if there's any more. More comments. All right, that's it. But anyway, but yeah, and Belford must have abandoned this too. But
well, I had a time at Halloween 3.
It's just Halloween 3. I'm gone. But yeah, yeah. My favorite death. Well, I'm gonna go in order of the deaths. So the next death would technically be the homeless guy, the wino. They say that bottle looks pretty heavy.
Oh yeah.
They rip his head off.
Yeah.
Which at first they looked like they were doing something else to him. Oh, Dick Warlock, what are you doing, Dick? You set him down there. I'm like, Dick, what's going on? But yeah, they.
I'll let Aaron just
They rip
all this.
They rip his
I feel like I'm
head.
gonna have a Charlie horse in a second.
They rip it. Stretch your leg. Stretch it that way.
I'm stretching.
Just don't hit the thing.
Yeah, I don't want to be ended like you at Big Doves that one time.
Yeah, it's painful. Charlie horse. I used to get them all the time. I think it's lack of water. I don't know. Anyway,
Lack of water.
I should drink more water. But anyway, but yeah, so that was the next death, which it was forgettable. That's why I almost forgot it. I went back to remember it.
I did forget it.
So the lady with the little chip.
Is that your favorite?
No, my favorite is the little boy with the mask and the everything coming out.
See, I don't think it's my favorite because you don't actually see it.
Oh,
what's going on inside that mask?
I think it's great. But the lady's face though, her lips are split, her teeth are gone, her eyes are red. It's just like it's terrible. It looks painful, but it's really good makeup.
Yeah, I mean, I would expect that would be very painful.
Yeah.
Have this
blue laser.
The blue blazer.
Blue
laser just open up and just destroy your mouth like that. I was like,
do you think she was dead then? And they were just saying
I hope so.
You think they were just saying, "Oh, she's gonna be fine," but she was really dead the whole time?
Oh, I'm sure she was dead by the time they got there. Yeah. But I hope she was dead from impact.
Yeah.
Because if not,
well, she blinked a little bit, I thought, and then she died. Then a spider crawled out of her mouth.
Yeah,
you're dead at that point.
You hate when spiders
crawl out. It's like Creep Show.
I haven't seen the first one. I've only seen the sequel.
I ain't gonna say nothing.
I read the
comic.
I
did not see the original Brandon.
It was on Netflix, and I was like, "Oh, I'll watch this."
Okay,
I've seen it.
We're gonna have to make it a viewing party. We're gonna do that. So anyway, my favorite death, as I was alluding to, is the little boy Buddy, who he goes to test. I didn't load it. That's okay. He goes to test the mask, and the song, and then like he's in front of the TV and the flashing lights, which if you have epilepsy is terrible for you, I guess. But yeah, then next thing you know, he grabs the mask, falls on the ground, crickets come out of his mouth, and then the snake, but the scene that curl up, just that's the scene that really gets me, that curling.
The curling.
Yeah, and I love that scene. Then like you see it's a rattler, you're like, oh, it's a rattler. I'm thinking, get away from it. Like you literally get away from it. And the mom, she just passed out. I don't know how she died. Anyway, so that was my favorite death. But I understand yours. It was good. It's good. I'm not dissing it.
I wouldn't diss it at all.
But the ending of the movie. So some point in the film, Ellie gets kidnapped and he rescues her, but it's not really her. Come find out she's a fembot. She's a fembot, baby. Yeah. And which don't make sense because she acted more human until that scene.
Yeah.
She seemed like more of herself until that scene.
Yeah, she did.
And it don't make sense to make her a fembot either, because are you hoping that he escapes? You know.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
It didn't really add up, story-wise.
Yeah.
How they act prior to all that. So, okay. I don't know. It's just, they're mind controlled, so it doesn't.
It doesn't add up.
It doesn't.
But, yeah, we go ahead and get to it. So, at the end of the movie.
Let's talk about the end. The final shot
of the movie. We have Tom Atkins, who runs the same way to get, well, he goes in a different direction, but he ends up at the same gas station with the same dude. Then he's calling the TV stations. He got one of them, and they got him to cancel, stop running the ad. Yeah. And so they stopped running the ad on 2 channels. His kids come in, and they keep turning the channel, and they find that, why don't you just break the TV at that point? But anyway.
Well, I think the reason he wasn't because homes are seeing this.
Yeah, that's true.
So he's trying to prevent
these kids take the mask off and jerk them off with a little kid's face. You seem like a crazy man, but they'll thank you later. But anyway, but yeah, no, he says, stop it. I love it. I like how anticlimactic it is. I love that evil still wins. It's very much like They Live, I feel like They Live is such a sour ending. It reminds me of that, which came out like a year or so later. So
Did it?
hmm
Yeah, I guess that's about right. Well, no, Piper was there till third WrestleMania, which was '88.
yeah, well, he came back in WrestleMania 5.
Yeah, but he retired WrestleMania 3 because he was going to shoot the
Yeah, so WrestleMania 3 was what 80.
eighth. First WrestleMania was '85.
But I'm saying They Live came out like meaning a couple years later. That's fine. You don't have to be there after, but you know what I'm saying. But anyway, my point is, I love how anticlimactic it is.
Yeah.
That's what I want you to grab a hold to there, Brandon.
I grabbed it.
You grabbed it and you tugged it in the wrong direction. But anyway, so what I like the ending. Although the studios didn't, they asked John to change it. John went to Tom and gave him the last say so. Tom says, no, we're going to go ahead and keep it the way it is. They want a more uplifting ending. Tom didn't want it.
I don't know why you would want it more uplifting when the previous films weren't uplifting.
They wanted
in the Halloween.
They wanted the evil to lose, but evil ultimately doesn't lose. Does it?
Well, until it faces God, then it loses.
Respect. But yeah, what did you think about the ending?
I mean, I enjoyed the ending.
We're gonna try to keep it under an hour.
It made me kind of want a sequel to Season of the Witch, just to see where things would go, how bad it would actually get.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it didn't happen, and I understand why. But I actually liked it. I loved because Tom, he nails it. The desperation in that scene. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! You know, he nails all of that, and you feel, man, he's trying to prevent something evil from taking over completely, and I loved it. Cole, stop it!
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Anyway, we're ready to go for the marks.
Go ahead.
All right. Also, he killed the fembot. She's dead. I consider she's dead anyway. She's already a robot. Anyway, which doesn't make sense. It's a plot hole. But anyway, I'm gonna give this movie 3 markouts out of 5. It's not that I hate it. I like it. I thought it was entertaining. It was really enjoyable. I just think that there's a lot of plot holes. But Tom Atkins is killing it. He kills every scene he's in, and I want more of him. That's honestly, I want more of him. And I love the effects. It's not a bad movie. I think people should really give it a chance and even watch it chronologically within the whole Halloween things. Just remember that they wanted to depart from Halloween, like Michael Myers, and do his own thing and look at it that way. And I think that people could really enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't think you have to watch it in a Halloween. Like if you're watching,
just watch it by itself.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, I think that's probably the best solution actually, because it's its own thing. And for me, I agree with you. I give it 3 out of 5 on the Markout meter system, and like everything is great about it for me except for the story itself, which is not like a terrible story. It's okay. It's just I felt it could have been better, and it probably would have been better if they wouldn't have had the writing disputes. Yeah,
I think it would have been better if it did not have the writing disputes. I agree. But all right, that's gonna wrap up our speech or podcast of you looked at
our review.
Our review. That's what it is of Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. We return next week for we'll probably do either a later time, but the same date, or around. We'll still be a later time, same date. So we'll still do it next week. We will be returning to Haddonfield for Halloween 4, the return of Michael Myers, because people clamored for more Michael. Even though we'll talk about the cover of like the video cover, which is misleading, very misleading, because that's not the Michael you get. It's misleading. That's my biggest gripe with it, is that it's misleading cover. I liked the movie at the time, but also I was like 8.
At the time, you liked it? You saying you don't
No.
I
I probably would. I ain't seen it really since I was younger.
Oh boy.
I haven't seen it since maybe when I first bought this collection back there.
the fourth one wasn't like I didn't care much for the fourth one as a kid. I was more about the fifth one.
I can't believe you.
And I now know that the fifth one is terrible.
Oh, okay. Okay, there it
I
is.
like the fourth one a lot better now than I did.
We'll get.
There's a certain kill in 5 that I absolutely love.
We get introduced to Danielle Harris next week. She joins which I wish she would have lasted longer in the series. We'll talk about that.
Well, it's dimensions issues there.
Yeah,
she was supposed to be in Curse as well.
But we'll get there. I can't wait. We'll get back into Michael. Maybe KJ may join us next week. I don't know. But if not, it'll be me and Brandon, Aaron Whitlow,
Brandon Spivey,
and we are the Markout Movie Podcasters.
Podcasters.
We thank you for marking out with us.